Morning. Here at CSL, there are 7 core values that we use to guide spiritual practice. We focus on one of those each week. The 7 are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. And today we're focusing on healing, and there's a lot of healing needed in the world right now. You may notice we have 13 candles burning on the stage in honor of the 13 American service members who lost their lives this week. You can add to that the 160 Afghan citizens, everybody in Haiti, and all of the pain in the world right now can just feel overwhelming, and we have no idea what to do with our desire to help heal all of that pain, and so we light candles, and we say prayers, and we connect with that compassion in our hearts and allow that to inspire whatever action is ours to take to help alleviate suffering in the world. Ultimately, though, healing happens within our own consciousness. And so whether or not that is a physical healing of bodily injury, emotional healing through forgiveness, or even a mental healing by letting go of old ideas or simply acknowledging that that square peg is not going to fit into the round hole. It always begins with acceptance. Acceptance of what is. By accepting what is in life, we can step into what is becoming. I'll share a little bit more about that in an announcement after service today, so for our online friends, please stick around for that. But in the meantime, whether it's lighting a candle, or saying a prayer, or doing compassionate action, or simply recognizing that thing in your life that you need to accept as it is so you can move through it, no matter how overwhelming it might seem, friends, no matter how much it might feel like you can't. You can. You can heal. You can accept. You can move into the new you that is waiting to be born. You can. Namaste.
We had enough church, right? That was awesome. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to ask the people in the room to just indulge me for a minute while I speak to our online viewers. So just go to your happy place for a minute. I'll be right back with you. Hello, all you people out there in internet land. I trust you're having a good day and enjoying our service thus far. We know that you have a lot of choices on Sunday morning for content on the web, and we also know that most of it isn't really very good. So, thank you for choosing the good choice for CSL Fort Lauderdale. I appreciate you being here very much. Now, here's the thing. Post-pandemic, we would like to continue to offer content. In fact, we have many plans to expand the online content that we have, but we've noticed, as we're watching you, watching us, that right after the Sunday lesson, you go offline. And we don't want you to do that. So here's what we'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to stay to the very end, because not only do you get the full experience of CSL, you also find out more about what's going on. And secondly, we'd like for you to support us financially. We need your support to continue our work, and we want you to value what you're viewing. So if you're getting something out of what we're giving to you, consider giving something back, please. And we also know that when you press that donate button on Facebook, that it takes you off the live stream. So do it when it feels right for you. And just so you know, our goal here is to have at least a minimum of 500 people online viewing each week from countries all over the world. So help us reach our goal. Tell a friend to tune in. You'll be proud of what you see, obviously. We won't let you down. Thanks for your patience, people in the room. Now we can get on with our lesson. So we're still using the book of the month because it's the last Sunday of the month, and the book of the month is For the Love of God. And this week, the essay that I chose to really talk about is by Shakti Gawain. Now, Shakti is not her birth name. She changed it after she had a mystical experience. She was born Carol Louise. Carol Louise Gawain. So just so you know, it's a common practice for people to change their names after they advance spiritually and have some kind of a breakthrough. Catholics do it after confirmation, right? Indigenous people do it, like the Aborigine tribes in Australia. They change their name once they reach a different level of spiritual growth. Even I changed my name. I mean, I was born Jaime Lipschitz, and who wants to be a Jaime Lipschitz when you can be a Dr. Chris Michaels? Kidding. Anyway, I guess that's what Carol Louise thought. She says, I'll call myself Shakti Gawain because that sounds more spiritual. And in fact, she did have a mystical experience while she was riding down a boat in the Ganges River in India. She had an epiphany, like so many of us do as we travel this road to enlightenment and we mature past the primitive stories of our childhood of a fatherly God up there somewhere in the heavens and a mean old guy down there called the devil. And this is what she said about the experience. She said this: nobody is doing this to us. We're doing it, we're creating it, and we can create it however we want. You see, she had an awakening that she and she alone was the sole creator of her whole life experience. And that means she had to do the one thing that most people never, ever, ever want to do. And it's why they say things like, somebody up there must not like me because my life sucks. It's why they believe in superstitions and carry around rabbit skins and a rabbit foot, right? And it's why they believe in duality, because they don't want to do this one thing, and I mean no one wants to do it. Nobody wants to take full responsibility for everything that happens in their lives, and I do mean everything that happens in your life. The job that you did well and got promoted, and the one that you got fired from. The person who loved you and the person who dumped you. The healthy days that you say, oh, look at me, I'm so proud of my consciousness is creating health, and the sick days. All of it, everything is your responsibility. Nobody is doing it to you. You're not a victim. It all comes, every single bit of it, from your consciousness. And no one wants to admit that. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody wants to take responsibility for everything. Except maybe you. Maybe you're ready to do that, to own everything. Maybe you're ready to get back in the driver's seat of your life and stop riding in the passenger seat, letting the world take you wherever it ends up. Maybe it's time for you to start using your power. Because here's the thing, you have access, direct, instant access to the power that created the stars and hangs those little planets in their orbits, and you have access to it right now. And that power, however, cannot make you use it. It waits until you awaken to it. It's something you have to discover personally on your own and then make use of it personally. You see, it's just like the electricity that is run to your home. It waits for you to plug something in. The lights aren't going to go on until you flip the switch. The microwave won't heat your food until you press the button. The AC won't blow until you set the thermostat. Like the power of the universe, it awaits your choice, your decision, your action. And here's the other thing that I think is really peculiar. As silly as it may sound, some people have this peculiar idea that they're not worthy of using this power. And you hear them sing the song, oh, I'm a wretched sinner, I'm not worthy. Oh, I have to be a better person before I can be empowered by God. No, you don't. I'm evidence of that. You don't go to your home and say, oh, I don't feel worthy of using the electricity today. I won't use the AC because I'm a sinner. You'll be a dead sinner in this heat. Let me just tell you that. You don't stand before your microwave with a cold plate of spaghetti and say, if only I was a better person. If only I was, then I could use the microwave. You see, the power that you are living in, surrounded by, and enveloped in like a fish lives in water is accessible to you right now, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you believe. It is still there, and it is still working. Check this out. Listen to what Carol Louise wrote about it. Shakti Gawain. She said, I started taking complete responsibility for my life, creating it moment by moment. But then I realized it wasn't really me creating, but a higher power that's in everything in the universe that creates everything working through me. This is good news, people. You don't have to do any of the work yourself. The power that works through you does the work. All you have to do is believe in it and let it do its thing. It works through you. So I started doing these power walks through my neighborhood when the pandemic hit. I quit going to the gym, and I decided I'm going to do like 3 or 4 miles 3 times a week. Yeah, so I'm doing that in my neighborhood. Started doing that again this week. And I ran into my neighbor. Lives about 3 houses down on the left. And she stopped me to tell me the story about her husband, who was just diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. He's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. He's been intubated. And she asked me, because she knows I'm a minister, she said, would you pray for him? And I said, well, let me ask you this first. Do you love your husband? And she said, yes. I said, do you want him to get well? And she said, yes. And I said, because here's the thing. I'm a man of great faith. And if I pray for him, he's going to heal. So you need to know that that's going to happen. So if you love your husband and you really want him to come home, I'm happy to do the work for you. But you've been married a long time. You want to rethink this? And she said, no. I know, you've been married a long time. Are you sure you love your husband? You want him to heal? Because don't ask me to do this prayer because he's going to get well. He's going to come home. And she laughed and she said, yes, I love my husband. I believe that's true. And yes, please pray for him. And I walked away from that encounter and I said these words. And so it is. And so it is. Love is the healer. Love. And all things can be healed. Now, I have to be honest with you because, I'm Chris Michaels and I never tell a lie. So I did have a little bit of time in my own consciousness getting clear about his wellness and his perfection and his health and his right to experience health, because this is my neighbor, and I did notice that in the last election that there were political signs in his yard that were for the guy that I didn't vote for. And then I had to remember, God is not a Republican. God is not a Democrat. God is not an independent. God is this. God is a power that has no limit and a love that has no condition. That's what God is. A power that has no limit, a love that has no condition. So I told her husband would heal, not because I believe there's some deity up there who's going to look down on him and grant him a favor, but because I know how to use this power, and I know that her belief and mine matched with the entire universe, who's on the side of wholeness and healing, and for the fullest expression of all in perfect health. I know with that combination, we cannot fail. Use your power. Don't wait. Take the wheel and drive your life right back to wherever your heart leads. And trust that every good thing you want for yourself right now, the universe is ready, willing, and able to make it so. Story. There's always a story. About 10 years ago, the folks out at Unity Village caught wind of the success that we were having at CSL in Kansas City when I was there. And they were looking for talent for their new radio network called Unity FM, which is now called Unity Online Radio. So the producers called me up and they said, Dr. Chris, they didn't know my former name was Jaime Lipschitz. So they called me Dr. Chris, and they said, Dr. Chris, we have heard the news that your community is thriving when so many others are not. And we hear that you're a very prosperous man, so would you be willing to create and host a 1-hour radio show on our network just about prosperity? And I said, sure. How hard can it be to do a 1-hour radio show every single week for the rest of your life? And I said, sure, I'll do it. So for dozens and dozens of weeks, I'd drive the 25 miles out to the Unity studios, and I did live shows on prosperity. I didn't have to drive out there, but I felt better in the studio live. And after a while, I got bored because, you can only say so much about prosperity after dozens and dozens of shows. So I called the director of programming and I said, look, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm bored with it. I don't want to do it anymore. And she asked me to reconsider. I said, well, I'm not going to do that show. Maybe I could do something else. And she said, what would get your juices flowing? What would you really be interested in doing a show about? And I thought about it for a week or so, and I prayed about it, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just done with radio. And after a week, I had this idea, and I called her back, and I said, listen, I don't think you're going to like this. So let me just put that up front. I don't think you're going to like this idea because it's too raw, it's too unpredictable, and it could be just a little bit dangerous. And she says, well, now you've intrigued me. So I told her, I said, look, I have this idea for a show, and I want to call the show Healing Your Life. And my idea is to bring people on the show who have some issue in their lives that they really want healed. And then for 4 weeks, working with those individuals, I would coach, I would counsel, and I would pray for them, and then air the results with them live in the studio every single week. And I said, look, we keep saying, Unity, CSLs, we say we believe in a power that has no limits. We keep teaching people that the universe is on their side and has every good thing in mind for themselves. We keep saying that healing is always possible. Now, either we need to prove it, or we need to go somewhere and sit down and shut up. And to her credit, she said, oh my God, I love that idea. Let's do it. No risk for her, right? So for about 100 episodes, I did a show called Healing Your Life on Unity FM. And miraculous and wonderful healings took place. And like everything else on the internet, once it's there for life, forever. So all of the shows are still archived on their network, and people still find their way to our teaching through them. If you want, you can go watch them too, or you don't watch them, you just listen to them. And if you do, you'll hear a familiar voice or two on the show. One is our own Jeannie Looper Smith here, and her husband Ross were on several shows. So if you want to find out about them, I'm just saying, there's details. Now, all of this personal power to create your own life might seem a little bit new agey for some of you, but I'm here to tell you there is nothing new about this. In fact, it's ancient wisdom. It's just not talked about or taught in traditional churches. And I think that's because most religions really want to take the easy road. It's a lot easier to say, it's that damn weather, that's making me sick. It's my boss's fault that I can't move forward in life. It's my parents, they never encouraged me, and that's why I live in fear. It's a lot easier to place the blame game and to blame somebody else or something else than it is to take full responsibility for the quality of your life as it is today. It's a lot easier to do that because I've done it. I did it for a long time. And then something happened to me, something I suggest will happen to you if that's what you're doing. The day will come when you get tired of making excuses, when you find out the only common denominator in all of my problems is that I happen to be there every time they occur. You'll get tired of repeating the same negative experience over and over and over again. And on that day, something will rise up in you and you will say, I've had all I can stand and I can't stand no more. And that, my friend, when you are at the end of your rope, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, is when God, the creative power of the universe, enters into your life. That's the invitation for the power that makes all things new. And on that day, you will see just how powerful you really are. That's the day you'll discover what Mahatma Gandhi did when he led an entire nation to freedom. He said this, there is a force in the universe which, if we permit it, will flow through us and produce miraculous results. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said it this way, there is a power for good greater than you are in the universe, and you can use it. That force that Gandhi spoke of, that power that Holmes wrote about, is the invisible presence of love that surrounds you. And if you let it, if you invite it, if you permit it, if you will push the button and say yes, it will take you to a life filled with every good thing your heart can imagine. And so ends the lesson. We do a lot of talking in life. We talk to our friends, we talk to our lawyers, we talk to our doctors, we talk to our family. We're always looking for somebody outside ourselves to give us some advice, to show us the way, to lead and guide us. We forget to stop and listen, because inside is the presence of God. Inside is the wisdom you seek. Inside is the love that heals your heart. Let's close our eyes and stop looking outward and go within now. Life has a flow to it, a beauty, a grace. And when we're in alignment with it, we go with the flow. It's like floating down a river on a raft of love. It's easy, it's joyful, it's adventurous, and it's fun. This is the way your life is supposed to be and mine. All of our lives are supposed to be filled with joy and love and ease and peace. Not just today, but every day. And if that's not our experience, if just the opposite is true, if we're struggling and fighting and arguing and in pain and anguish, it's because we're going the wrong way. It's not because there's anything wrong with life or God. Turn around and go towards love. Go toward that which brings you joy. There is a guidance system inside your mind, a wisdom that creates universes, that is ancient and holy. It has personal guidance for you. If you will listen, it will tell you everything you need to know to be happy, loved, healthy, and at peace. Let's listen for just 1 minute. Let's make a choice today to let love guide us. Let's make a choice today to turn toward joy. Let's stop being impressed with all the things that we think are wrong with us and broken. Let's turn to the light and be healed. Right now, in this instant, it can be so. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there.
So we close with our affirmation that says, say it with me, please. I live the life of Spirit, and Spirit lives life as me. Let's know this together. There is a spiritual universe and spiritual beings which live in the universe that have manifested physical human bodies on a planet and called that life. But in truth, what is visible about us is a small portion of the greater truth of who you are and who I am. We are God making its entrance into the world in unique, never again repeatable, in all of time and history beings. Individual experiences of love and joy and ease. And this is the way nature designed us to be, each bringing a gift, a unique purpose, a unique pattern, a unique way to love and experience joy like no other person can ever. Our only task in this journey as spiritual beings in human bodies is to experience the fullness and the richness of life, is to be what we were designed by God to be, to experience all the love and all the joy, and then return to love in the end. This is our place, this is our purpose, this is our destiny. You are in love. And so it is. We'll see you again next week, same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. My pleasure to be with you this morning at CSL. Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.